we have with us Mr. Animesh Bhatt, a very enthusiastic and a very keen member of the media industry, and he knows about the basics of the media industry, which include mass media and journalism.
And so one more question following up the last question. You said that a lot of people are getting a lot of family time to spend with their families. And this connects to my passion question, where there are many teenagers who complain that, not just teenagers, like many, people in their 20s as well, they complain that, their parents or their family does not understand their passion or what they really want to do. And there are many clashes in the family. I personally know a couple of friends who want to be musicians, but their families are not allowing it. So they're fighting with their families. And I've heard, like, so I was also like reading about this, like what one should do in a situation like this. So I came across this piece of advice which sounded reasonably good to me. It went something like, you do what you want right now, do it for 5 7 years, and then when you succeed in it, because if you're really passionate about it, you will succeed. And once you succeed in it, if your family really loves you, then they will understand your happiness more than the social, thing that it brings with it. Whereas if you just listen to them and you don't actually do what you want to do, you would spend the rest of your life, if not, on the face, but secretly you will have that, that part of hate that you didn't
Regret.
let me follow what I wanted to do. So what's your take on that?
Okay. Please understand, having said so much about wealth not being important, money not being important, etc., please understand one thing, that to survive in the current world, you need money. You don't have a
Definitely.
choice. And you need a certain standard of living to be able to survive. Okay. And you have grown up with a certain kind of standard. So probably you need that kind of money or that kind of things to survive. If you realize that you are human, and if you put your mind to it that you can study, then anybody can crack any entrance examination if they put their mind to it and decide about it. Okay, anybody can do it. They have got to be normal human beings to be able to do it, and they put in the necessary efforts, they can do it. My take on it is that it's not a very easy world. It is competitive. And if you've been groomed to study in a particular fashion and to get into the system of making money by doing a job or doing a business or starting a startup or something, then I would suggest, if you are in your teens or in your 20s, I would suggest stick to the traditional and make your hobby a serious hobby and build on it. And if you come to a time where, or a place where your hobby can make you more money than whatever you're doing, then at that point of time, quit what you're doing and continue with your hobby.
So it's
I'll
taking
give you
a
an example.
calculated risk is what you're saying.
Yes, because are you prepared to live a pauper's life all your life just because your hobby didn't click, though you continue to be passionate about it?
Makes
Then
sense.
go ahead, do it. Then go ahead, do it. I have no objections to that. I mean, what will happen? You live a poor life. That still keeps you a human and a nice human. Just because you're poor doesn't make you a bad human being. So that's all right. If you're prepared with that, that's okay. Go ahead and do it. But realize, understand कि तुम कितना कर सकते हो, कितना नहीं कर सकते हो, और कितनी तुम्हारी पहुंच है और कितनी पहुंच नहीं है. And then do. I mean, you might be lucky and do very well. You might be delusional and think that I will do very well, and might find out later on that you made a big mistake. And 5, 7 years, 10 years down the lane, it could be a difficult proposition to make a U-turn and go back to whatever you did. So
Makes
take a
sense.
calculated risk. I mean, get down to taking care of your finances. कि अब मेरे को पैसे की चिंता नहीं है. Okay, now I want to full time spend time on my hobby and do it, But if you are not taking care of your finances and jumping into your hobby or something that you love without having been trained professionally in it, if you are 6 years old and 7 years old and you start getting into music and you start singing and you're doing a damn good job of it, and then in your teens you have 10 years of experience by the time you're a teenager, Nothing should stop you. You should pursue that. But
So what
otherwise,
what about
be
some people,
reasonable. Be
like
reasonable.
what about if we take sportsman, a sports career, like it, like especially, so like sportsmen, they usually start the training by, like 13, 15, 17, and like let's say
Much
someone,
earlier than that. Much
yeah,
earlier.
much like
You tell
the
me
greats
one.
have started it a lot earlier, but I'm just saying that let's say in
Yeah.
general someone discovers, maybe someone discovers that they're very good at pool, but they learn about it at 15. So should they like also take the same route, or should they like develop
So,
on
but
that thing
are
at
they
that point of
really
time?
good? Are they really good? Are they really good? And do
Let's
you
say they're
think that you
winning,
can take it up professionally?
championships and all that stuff. Like they, like what the society
Please.
has set the measure for someone being good, they are achieving that.
Then they should. Then they must continue with their passions if they want to.
So
Then
to
they
sum it
should.
up, they
Because
should take a
the
calculated risk about whatever it is.
yes.
If you think that okay, now I can survive, like even without what the traditional thing is, then make that leap.
I think but please remember one thing. On a full stomach, it is very easy to say that I can do whatever I want to do in my life. Go through a empty stomach for a few days, for a week. Try and take 100 rupees and go away to Bombay and stay there for 20 days, for a month or so, without trying to contact any of your friends, family, or anybody. Okay, and live that hungry life and try to make some money and feed yourself. Go hungry for a few days and then tell me that no, 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 I want to pursue my hobby.
Makes sense. Like that's
So
something
it's
which
very
a lot
easy
of people
to,
are recommending right now. That if you're a well-off kid, if you're from a well-off family, like by well-off I mean like you're getting food every day and you're not sleeping hungry, then do this for 10, 15 days. Just go to some place where you know no one and just live there and try to make it on your own. It will make you feel grateful for a lot of things that you have, which we do not currently feel grateful for. So that's something I've heard a lot.
yeah, because you've never experienced it. I'll tell you a phenomenal experience that we all had in our family very recently. My daughter, whenever my wife used to tell my daughter that there are people going hungry, why are you wasting food? As a kid, she used to always say, but it's not my problem if they're going hungry. How am I responsible if they're going hungry? What have I done? So, but if I can't eat or I don't like something, I don't want to eat it. Why are you blaming me for somebody else who's going hungry? She never understood that as a kid. Now she's taken up a job in Ahmedabad with a law firm. She's a lawyer. And she used to travel from her flat where she was staying to her office in an auto rickshaw. An elderly gentleman who used to come to pick her up in the morning, and she used to go to her office. And just because of this lockdown, this auto rickshaw wala, this elderly gentleman, called up my daughter and said that, Beta, can you give me some advance money? Because I don't have food and I don't have money because my life survived on auto rickshaws, and I've not been able to run a rickshaw for 30 days. I'm out of money. And can you send me, so when the COVID ends and when I start picking you up and dropping you off to office again, I will not take money from you for some time. My daughter came down from her room downstairs where I was there, crying her eyes out. She said that Kaka is not eating. He's hungry and he doesn't have money. So it's when it happens to you, and when you see it and when you experience it, you get that empathy and you realize what it means. Most people today don't know what is the meaning of hunger. God bless them. They're very nice. It's very good of them, their parents and everybody. They're, but I think you need to go on a very limited budget on a trek somewhere, okay,
For
and
you to
up
actually
the
realize the
Himalayas or
importance.
someplace, and walk like crazy with a lot of weight on your back, and then eat that horrible food that they make, and you'll realize how wonderful it is. Okay, or not have food for a few days and realize what it means to be hungry. Then you will realize whether you want to go with your passion or whether you want to go with your traditional things.
Makes
Then
sense.
you will get the right answer.
So you need to go to the very bottom hell part before you can actually get back up. So this is again like the crest and trough that you talked about at the very beginning, that it happens in
Yes,
stages.
yes.